this time, the rage against popery was such that no man believed himself safe, and ladies were used to carry pistols in their muffs for fear of Jesuits. But for my part, I think the nation was run stark mad. Catholics were hanged every day on the evidence of Titus Oates, who made a good living thereby. After the election, the new Parliament was filled by Whigs, and as the Duke of York was a known papist, they were hot against him.
Enough, Ballard, that'll do. Jamie, you're a lucky fellow.
Lucky? Huh. How lucky?
Firstly, with your beard, you need only be shaven once a day. Send Chiffage in, please.
As to that, you may have reason. But in no other sense am I lucky.
Oh, come now, you've got 3 healthy daughters.
A dead son?
Aye, but they're legitimate, and the Duchess is a young woman. You'll have sons.
To be bred up Protestants like their sisters?
While I live, Jamie, yes. Chiffage, my gown, please. Is, Mr. Godolphin waiting?
He is, sir. And Mr. Churchill has just arrived.
Bid them attend us, will you? Not that I have any love for Protestants and Presbyterians I abhor. That is no religion for a gentleman. But mark this, Jamie. When you succeed me, or your children do, you'll inherit a kingdom full of damned, stubborn Protestants. St. Peter himself couldn't convert them.
We shall see about that. But in all this, where am I lucky?
Because you have a wiser elder brother who knows what's good for you better than you do yourself.
I disagree. I think the policy you entered upon is mistaken. It can end only in destruction for you, for me, I for the monarchy itself. But you are the king, so you must be obeyed, as I should expect to be. Very well. I shall go into exile, if you so command me.
I do, Jamie, I do. Necessity drives me in this, as in other affairs. Gentlemen, come in. What news of my Lord Danby?
At 6 this evening, sir, he surrendered himself to Black Rod.
He took my advice.
And now he's in the Tower.
I'd like to stay there. If I release him, Parliament will have his head. Jack, did you escort my lord?
I did, sir, with a strong guard. We took oars at Westminster and landed well enough, though the rabble were out, crowding the riverside.
Bellowing their stupid guts out, I dare swear.
Yes, and holding up halters and nooses. I had to clear the bridge before we could shoot it. There was a parcel of rogues there with stones ready to sink us.
He's safe now, thank God. I've lost my Lord Treasurer. The Treasury will be put in commission. There will be 3 commissioners. My Lord Sunderland and Laurie Hyde will make up 2. You, Godolphin, shall be the 3rd.
Me, sir? You do me great honor, but I can't think why you should.
Well, I put you there to keep an eye on the other 2. But, gentlemen, I would ask you something. This Parliament is bent on destroying my government. Now, Lord Shaftesbury has the popular acclaim. He'll attack on many fronts. Jack, as a soldier, what is your answer to that?
Concentration. I would say, husband your resources. Send the baggage to the rear. Keep open your lines of supply. When the enemy extends himself too far, attack with all your power in the quarter where he least expects you.
It's good counsel, especially touching the baggage, eh, Jamie?
In a campaign, I would approve.
This is a campaign, but on the political front. Godolphin, what's your opinion?
To be pragmatic.
Now that is a good word, a right political word. What does it mean?
The doctrine, sir, that the only test in the value of human principles are their practical results.
Relate this to my present dilemma.
You are faced with what appears to be an irresistible opposition. Now, as you can't defeat it, you must join it. Fill the Privy Council with the great Whig lords and make Shaftesbury the president.
God's wounds are monstrous doctrine.
Nay, Jamie, it diverts me. Pray continue.
Well, they will be your ministers, and hence responsible to Parliament for your policies. Now, sir, they can hardly impeach themselves, can they?
Well, I wish heartily that they might, but stay. Supposing I mislike the advice they give me.
You must ignore it.
And resign office?
Aye, sir, and be discredited ever after. They will have the blame, and you will achieve the practical results you wish. This is pragmatism.
I like it.
And I do not. Far better to hang the lot of them.
Jamie, you have the soul of a medieval pope. Jack, no more tennis for a while.
No, sir.
My brother is leaving us to go abroad. This will be announced in council tomorrow, and my letter to him will be read out in all the churches. Oh, the foolish people will shout for joy, thinking it a victory for something or other, but in fact it will be the beginnings of my vocation as a pragmatist. Do I learn quickly, Godolphin?
All I know of politics, sir, I have learnt from you.
Jack, will you go with my brother? Be at his side, do his bidding. You will be the link between him and me. Will you do us this service, Jack?
Right willingly, sir.
Oh, and take that pretty wife with you. Keep you out of mischief. Now, my brother.
I am your subject. There is no more to be said.
Nay, but look not so gloomy. Harsh times lie ahead, but you and I, we've seen worse, so let us part friends and look to happier days. I will miss you, though.
So we journeyed out of England. First to The Hague, where my lord had much discourse with the Prince of Orange, and thence to Brussels, where we stayed some months. But the Duke soon persuaded King Charles to send him to Scotland, where he set up court at Holyrood Palace, and ruled that poor country with great severity.
Pray continue.
Master Pringle, you have refused to give this court the names of the men you saw at the conventicle on May the 4th last. You ken the law in this matter, and forby you ken that by the law of Scotland, this court may put you to the question by means of the boot, or other devices. So, I demand of you again, will you name these men, and in particular, the minister who preached there against the law of this realm? Proceed.
I was going to the Duchess. I thought... Why, John, what's amiss? Does your head ache? Are you sick?
Truly, I could vomit.
Quickly, then.
Nay, it will pass, as it always does. I have seen much of death, and no doubt I will see more. But in a battle, a man dies clean, whether his head be struck off by a cannonball, or he bleeds to death with iron splinters in his belly. Still, he dies clean in the heat of the battle.
John, what is it?
And I will hang a man, if need be, for spying or treachery, as I would expect to be hanged myself if I did the like. The man knows the risk, and he accepts it. But Sarah, to torture a poor soul with a boot or thumbscrew, for no other reason than his desire to worship God his own way, or to protect his friends from persecution.
The Duke was there.
He is always there, and all the Scottish Council. At first they would make some excuse to leave, but now they are ordered to remain.
John, have you thought whether you might quit the Duke's service?
Not yet, but a time may come.
John? Sarah? They told me you had a lodgings here about... well met.
Well met indeed.
Sidney, you're a sick for Sarah.
Foul, barbarous speech is that?
It means that our eyes are blessed by the sight of you. Now come in and take a cup of wine.
The Duchess?
Damn the Duchess. Much as I love her, she can wait.
We had no word of your coming. Did the King send you?
Aye. Post haste to see York. Sarah, you look mighty well.
I am. As well as any poor wretch who's sick every morning at 8 o'clock sharp.
Oh, now this is good news. When do you lie in?
June, we believe.
Thanks. To the child. Now, you must promise me, if it's a girl, she shall marry Francis.
First let her be born.
And christened.
Very well. But the next day after, a betrothal.
How does the boy?
Oh, he grows as boys do. He lives with my sisters. Spoil him.
And what of London? Does the plot still rage?
Aye. But since Stafford's execution, you've heard of that. Several have been acquitted. Now, my judgment may be out.
It seldom is.
But there's a change in the air, John. I can smell it coming. Men have become nauseated by trials and hangings and the stench of burnt entrails. Oh, not in London. Shaftesbury and Oates still rule Parliament and the city. But in the country, I think at last Englishmen are beginning to be ashamed.
I'm glad of it. And the king?
Hard beset. There's no entertainment at court through lack of money. His friends either dead like Rochester or withered away by politics like Buckingham. Even the mistresses have turned against him. And Carwell badgers him to agree that York should be removed from the succession. Oh, for his own good, she says.
But the Commons' exclusion bill was defeated, surely, by the Lords.
Thanks to Halifax, yes. But the next time it may be approved. Oh, and another thing. Monmouth is in England.
But he was banished.
Well, he's back, making a progress across the West Country and flaunting it in Westminster Hall with a troop of Whig peers walking uncovered before him. Verily, he believes they'll make him king.
They may try. The man has neither the stomach nor the brains for it. Who supports the king?
Laurie Hyde, the Rearsbys, Halifax.
Essex?
He ratted along with Sunderland, Temple and the rest.
Silly, silly.
As well, few men in England would agree with you. Sunderland was swiftly dismissed, so Hyde and I are alone at the Treasury.
No more, thanks. But Sidney, what's your errand? I mean, if you may tell it.
Thanks. Yes, I can tell it because John must help me. Now, York is begging to return home. The king offers to let him on one condition. Whatever he may do in private, he must outwardly conform to the Anglican Church. You and I, John, are to persuade him.
Never in this world will he agree. Since living here, he's more fanatical than before. He is ruled entirely by the Jesuits. Father Petrie above all. He'll never compromise.
Well, we shall try and fail. Yet I, too, have a task, Sidney, equally impossible.
Nay, John, not equally. What is it?
Next Monday se'nnight, York sends me back to London, which I may tell you does not displease my wife.
Far from it. I shall contrive to spin out the time so our child can be born there.
York, you see, has a remedy for these present troubles. Firstly, I'm to press upon the king the need for an alliance with France, with a sufficient subsidy from Louis. Secondly, the king is to dissolve Parliament and permit no elections. Thirdly...
Enough, John. You sound like a Presbyterian sermon. As to your firstly, I know nothing and would say nothing if I did. And to your secondly, well, What day of the month is it?
The 9th. The 9th.
Well, 10 days from today, the king calls together the Privy Council. The Whig Council, John. And he will tell them something, little to their taste.
And His Majesty orders me to tell you further that since Parliament is governed wholly by faction, since no business can be done because of quarrels between the factions and between the Commons and the Lords, since the Commons will not grant him revenue sufficient for the fleet and for the Tangier garrison, His Majesty proposes to dissolve Parliament forthwith.
May I ask, does His Majesty mean to issue writs for a new Parliament?
He does.
Does His Majesty expect to obtain one that will love him better?
He prays that it will. I am, moreover, instructed to tell you that since His Majesty will not be in London at that time, Parliament will sit at Oxford.
Your Majesty, I protest. There is no precedent for this save in times of plague or civil war. London is the capital city of this realm. All the Lords and many of the Commons members have their houses here. Your proposal, sir, means an intolerable inconvenience.
Inconvenience?
This is not so serious a matter. But if you change the ancient customs of this kingdom without the consent...
My Lord Russell.
Sir?
This is not the place for speeches. Be pleased to sit down.
Your Majesty.
My Lord Halifax.
May I be heard?
Aye, but, no speeches, mind.
A matter of fact, sir. Wheresoever the king happens to be, that place is the seat of government for the time being. It follows that he may summon Parliament to that place if he so desires, or to any other.
Was it by your advice that Oxford was chosen? If so, my lord, we shall remember you for it.
I'm obliged. A man is seldom remembered for his good deeds.
Your Majesty.
My Lord Shaftesbury.
May I be heard?
You may.
As President of your Privy Council, I give you my advice. I would have you summon Parliament to London, where it ought to sit.
God's fish, I thought that was all settled. Parliament cannot sit without me, and I shall be in Oxford. Do you want to make us all look like a set of damn fools?
May I have your leave to withdraw?
You could make no request more easy for me to grant. Essex, Wharton, Russell, will you stay with me or go with your bellwether? Oh, Laurie, open the window, there's a good fellow. I have need of fresh air. Thank you, my lords. Attend on me this evening, as appointed. You, James?
Sir, these men wish you well.
Nay, if I do their bidding, they'll tolerate me, and I'll be no man's puppet. And beware, James, lest they make you one.
You choose to insult me.
Nay, I choose to keep you from folly. Now, there's a story being put about that a black box has been found. 'Tis said it contains a marriage contract between your mother and me. Have you seen such a contract?
No.
Nobody has, because it doesn't exist, but the Whig lords make great play with it nonetheless. Now, my dearest son...
Am I your son?
You know that I've ever claimed you to be and hold you most beloved above all my children.
Do what the people desire.
Have you no understanding? If the principle of true succession be put aside, if a heir be elected by me or by any political faction, or if he be nominated by popular vote, then the monarchy itself will fall. For an heir thus nominated or elected may be dispelled by the same means. But, take the Roman emperors, ponder their fate.
And think you, sir, of the condition of England, half republican even now. But if a Catholic should come to the throne, there will be civil war, anarchy.
Your uncle may grow wiser with time. He may die before me. Patience is the virtue of good government.
Nay, sir, 'tis the vice of all men.
Well, I could tell you of worse, but mark this. There will be no change in the succession. And to quell any doubts or rumours, a declaration will be published under my own seal tomorrow stating the clear truth. That at no time was I ever married to any woman save my wife, the Queen.
You do this to shame me.
Oh, James, nay, James, nay. I do it to keep you from infamy, danger. But let us be at ease with one another. Come sup with me tonight. There's a company of Spanish dancers fresh from the
Your
Indies.
Majesty will excuse me. I'm engaged elsewhere. Tonight I sup with my friends.
Did you ever see such a kennel?
It looks sky coothy to me.
Jessie,
Aye, mistress?
must I tell you 50 times you address me as ma'am, ma'am, or madam, if you wish.
I'll mind what you say, Miss... Madam.
I'll see that you do. Now come here.
Here with that, Beckett, on the table. Did you find the landlord?
He's not in the house, sir.
Well, then pay the coach. Have you money?
Enough, sir.
And when that's done, find him. Find Master Joseph Blaze.
He'll be at the Blue Lion Tavern.
Drunk or sober, Beckett, fetch him.
That I will, sir.
Just not have it! Oh!
Sarah.
Look what she's done. She's broken my beautiful tortoiseshell comb you brought me from Paris. It came from the Spanish Indies. Look.
Sarah, what does a comb matter?
This comb matters. You gave it to me.
Find you another. Why be so hard on the poor wench? Besides, when I see your hair free and lovely, like silk in my fingers. All I can think is...
Stop thinking. Look. Look around you. Look at this place. Filthy, 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 stinking of dead cats and cockroaches. Knee-deep in dust and dirt, with not even a fire. And look at us, in velvet and lace, caressed at court, and all we have to come home to is 2 rooms in a lousy hovel. I'll not bear my child in this place, and I'll not have my mother here in my lying in.
She has known worse places. So has my mother, as you and I have. I've sent for the landlord. The rooms will be scoured clean by tomorrow morning. Now, if you...
Don't reason with me! I want a home of our own.
And you shall have it, but we must needs wait.
Wait. I will not wait. I want it now.
Jessie!
Free and lovely. Silk in your fingers, eh? Silk in your fingers. The devil take your fingers! The devil take your fingers!
Sarah, I must report back to Whitehall now, but I'll return again in an hour.
Ma'am, the old wife in the kitchen made some tea, and I thought you'd maybe take a dish of it. Lord save us, mistress. What in the name of God?
Jessie.
Oh.
Such a fool.
The gentleman is here. I shall announce you, sir.
Monsieur, you will excuse me for not receiving you with the honors due to you.
Your Majesty honors me too much by admitting me to such intimacy.
Well, now, that's the end of protocol, thank God. We may now discourse at our ease. Chiffinch, some wine, if you please. Monsieur, pray be seated. Will you take a bite of supper with me?
Nay, sire, I have already.
Oh, come now, there's always room for a little smackerel of something. If it be only a dish of fine Baltic caviar or a slice or two of good York ham. Oh, and speaking of good York, I'm having a little difficulty with my brother, as you may have heard. Oh, pray be at ease, be at ease. Chiffinch knows all my secrets and many more besides.
Your Majesty's good health.
Ah, well, I have a better toast. To His Most Glorious Majesty, King Louis the Grand.
The king has proclaimed the bastardy of Monmouth, and Parliament is summoned for March. The king will be forced to concede every expedient, including the perpetual banishment of York, yet he has little hope of satisfying them. My great fear is that he will be compelled to turn wholly towards an alliance with the Prince of Orange, and your Majesty knows how this would affect your Majesty's plans in Europe. I thereupon opened the prospect of a subsidy if he would withdraw from the alliance against France. He said he would consider of it, but only if your Majesty will guarantee not to attack the Netherlands. Meanwhile, our bribes still hold the Whig faction to our interest, and all goes merrily on.
Ah.
Your Majesty will have heard that last night the Commons rejected the expedients you offer.
Yes.
And voted entirely for exclusion.
The Lords have yet to vote.
Be sure of this, sir, if they vote against, nothing can stop civil war.
Nothing, my lord.
I would ask you to read this address. It sets out the only expedients this nation will accept, that you recognize the Duke of Monmouth as heir to the throne.
No inducement will ever make me do anything so against justice and against law. Or, my lord, against my own conscience.
It is the first time a court conscience ever prevented a man doing a thing so much in his own interest.
Let there be no self-delusion. I will never yield, and I will not be intimidated. The older I grow, the more steadfast I become. My Lord Chancellor, command Blackrod to summon my faithful Commons. I wish to confer with both houses.
Well, my lord.
He swears he'll never yield, but he will confer with the Commons, he said. That can only mean surrender.
Hurry along, boy. Well, Jack, I follow your strategy like an apt pupil. Strike, you said, with all your power in the quarter where they least expect it.
Sledging of brains and shedding of blood with a thump, 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 a thump and a thump, a thump, thump.
My lords and gentlemen, all the world may see to what a point we have come, and that we are not like to have a good end. While the divisions at the beginning are such both between you and us, and between your two houses. On the advice of our Privy Council, we have therefore decided to dissolve Parliament. My Lord Chancellor, do as I have commanded you. Well, there's some use for baubles after all, my lords. Come, Bruce. You're a happier man than I was 10 minutes since. Better to have one king than 500.
Lord, they've arrested Shaftesbury.
Good. I hope they hang him.
Nay, Mother, I should be sorry if they did, though. He's done villainous things.
Sorry? He's a damned Republican.
I'm not so much in love with kings, myself.
It's time this babe was fed. I'll call the wet nurse.
Nay, Mother, the child sleeps, and you know that John likes to have...
And you know that babes must have milk by the clock. If we wait on the convenience of men...
Stay, I hear them. Come in.
I have Sydney with me. May we enter?
3 women here have awaited you this half an hour.
Oh, Sarah, it was my fault. No, it was the King's fault. He decided to relate to me the entire story of his escape after the Worcester fight in the year 1651.
Again. Mother, may I present Mr. Godolphin, our friend?
Madam, I am honoured.
And I, sir.
Sidney, may I present my daughter, Henrietta?
With the greatest of pleasure. Oh, small, is she not?
She's a very healthy, well-formed child.
And handsome, too, like her mother. Very satisfactory. Tomorrow we'll draw up the marriage settlement.
What about Shaftesbury?
Oh, he'll go to trial. Halifax decided that there is enough evidence to hang him, but I will wager 10 guineas he'll get off. No London jury will ever convict Shaftesbury. Oh, but Sarah, John has some news for you.
The King has ordered me back to Edinburgh next week.
So soon? A pity. I was beginning to like my hovel.
But you will go with me.
Whensoever I'm ready for the journey, and that will be soon.
God willing. I met the Lady Anne today. Since the King has agreed to her going to Scotland, she longs for your company. She swears she'll not stay without you.
Gentlemen, I pray you be gone.
Madam, we fly. Sarah, farewell.
Farewell. And John, my duty to Lady Anne shall not lack company.
Or bid me die, and I will dare in death to die for thee.
Go, sir. Go away.
Thou art my life, my love, my heart, the very eyes of me. And hast command of every part to live and die for thee. Sweet Mr. Herrick. His poem expresses everything for me that I durst not say for myself.
My Lord Mulgrave, you may well die. Though not by my command. For if you be discovered alone with me, you'll lose your head.
Worth it, madam, for 2 minutes' discourse, and no great loss neither. I am often told it is my least valuable member.
Well, as to that, sir, I know not.
Well, you must
Nor am ever likely to. But without it, you'd be poor company indeed. No head, no tongue, no compliments for the ladies, and no songs. Now, that would be tragical indeed.
Why, no, dearest madam, for my songs come from the heart, and that would beat on forever, in adoration of my mistress.
Have you no more songs?
Aye, Mary, a new one, too. Permit me. My love in her attire doth show her weight, it doth so well become her. For every season she hath dressings fit, for winter, spring, and summer. No beauty doth she miss when all her robes are on, but beauty's self she is when all her robes are gone. Well, how do you like my song?
Is it yours?
Writ only yesterday. To the fairest princess in the world.
The words are indecent, yet it is a pretty air.
I'll teach it to you. Nay, it is easier so. Now, the first line goes thus. La dum ba dee da dum ba da la da 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 da. And so we begin with the chord of F. La dum ba dee la da la dee la da 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 da. Oh, incomparable. Terpsichore herself. And now we...
Holy Mother of God! You! You, stand up, sir. Let me look at you. Well, my lord, for this you shall suffer many pains.
Sir, he
Be
didn't-
silent! Churchill, take my Lord Mulgrave to his lodgings and set a guard upon him. You will await my pleasure.
And what in the world possessed you? You know the Lady Anne is never to be left alone.
Even I, madam, am bound to answer the calls of nature.
Pray leave us. Mr. Churchill, remain within call. Well, has he debauched you?
Can you think I would allow it?
How did he come here?
Through the window. But truly, sir, he came but to divert me with songs.
Songs! God's death, girl, you're a princess of England, but 3 lives away from the throne. If you forgot it, be sure he did not. Ambition, that's what brought him here. And ambition has destroyed him. Anne, I believe you to be innocent, though a fool. So you're forgiven.
Sir,
but I'm persuaded by this to tell you now what was to be kept secret for a while. As you know, the question of your marriage is much discussed. When George of Hanover was in England last year...
I pray you, sir, do not marry me to him.
Hmm? Why not? Why not?
He did not please me.
Please you? Why should he?
Indeed, why should he? Unless he wanted to.
It is not...
I know that my marriage is a matter of high policy. I see the necessity for it and would never complain. But you wish me also to have children, I think.
You shall have them.
I hope so. But I'll have no children by George of Hanover.
Damnation, whomsoever you marry will get you with child, whether you wish it or no.
Yet if a woman denies herself, what can he do? This side of rape.
Do you tell me that unless we wed you to a man you desire, you will refuse to...
Nay, sir. I'll do your bidding with any prince you choose. Except Hanover.
You will do your duty, as we all must do. And the king and I have decided you are to marry Prince George. Prince George of Denmark. Mr. Churchill, attend the Lady Anne.
And the poor lass was so relieved she's half in love with him already.
She might do much worse. My brother Charles comes over with George. He served the King of Denmark these 10 years.
And his opinion?
But the prince is a brave man and a kind, good soul, if something stupid. Is usquebaugh, or whiskey as they call it. Good drink of a cold evening. Very cheap.
May I? Smoky taste. Too strong for me. What will they do with Mulgrave?
York could kill him, but his brother won't consent to that.
Oh?
What? Hang an earl? A poet? A good store of bawdy tales? Nay. He'll be banished for a time, till this affair is forgotten.
And our exile too is over. Where shall we live?
Somewhere in the country. Holywell, maybe?
Holywell. I've a piece of land there, certainly.
I have a mind to build a house on it.
But, John...
The king is moving into calmer water. We'll have kingfisher weather for a while, and that's the weather for breeding. And talking of earls...
Were we?
Poor Wilmot had no heir, so Laurie Hyde has been made Earl of Rochester.
Oh.
And Sidney is Baron Godolphin.
Good, good.
And I...
What?
York has made me Baron Churchill of Eyemouth in the peerage of Scotland.
John.
I don't sit in the House of Lords.
But where is Eyemouth?
On the coast, north of Berwick.
Oh, I know. Smoked haddocks.
Best in the world.
Oh, I am glad for you, my love. You do deserve it. But, Lord, can we afford it?
Well, sir, now that you've seen the prince, what do you think?
Yes. Yes, he seems a tolerably strong young man. I think he'll do very well.
Let us hope so, sir. I've never seen a man who so enjoyed his dinner. At least he has the appetite of a standard.
Well, as for me, I've tried the boy drunk and I've tried him sober. There's nothing in him. Nothing in him at all. Ah!
Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, my lords.
Oh, well, come, be at ease, be at ease, be at ease. God's fish, George. I swear you're stouter now than you were when you last came over.
There's no need to hurry. Gentlemen must be made to wait. Hey, Sarah. My Lady Clavering, a word. After supper is over...
Lady Churchill, I've spoken to my father, and he gives his consent. For my wedding day, you're to be a lady of the bedchamber. That is, if you will agree.
Madam, I will do my best to serve you.
Then that completes my happiness. The salarium, you know, is not worth much. £200 a year.
That will do very nice. Now, Anne,